Hey everyone, it's Nikki. Welcome if you're new here and welcome back if you're returning. I have some really pretty Valentine's DIYs to share with you today. And we're starting with these foam hearts from the Dollar Tree and these towels from the automotive section. These towels are so soft, almost like a baby blanket, and I really enjoyed working with them. So I'm going to start by placing my heart towards the lower section of my towel and folding the fabric up and over, and then cutting about half of the towel away. To attach everything, I'm using fabric tack. I just run that down the center of the heart and all along the sides. You don't need to glue it everywhere. And now I'm going to set my heart back onto the towel, pull the fabric nice and tight, and bring that bottom fabric up to meet the top, like the center. I'm aiming for a clean cut all the way around, and then I just start gluing and pinching. We're going to create a seam, but don't worry about that too much. We're going to cover that up with some beads. When I first started this project, I actually wanted to cut the heart straight in half, so there would be a flat side and I would have two of them. My first thought was maybe I could mount it onto a piece of wood or a picture frame, something like that. But I didn't have anything that would cut through it cleanly without ruining it. So I went this route instead. And honestly, I'm really glad I did because I love how these turned out. I think they're so pretty. And this is where I'm going to go in with these really pretty beads and gluing them all along the seam using some more of my fabric tack. This step really disguises everything. You'd never even know that seam was there unless you looked really closely. Now I'm going to use this really pretty lace trim. I love how it has pearls and these delicate little flowers. I picked this up from Temu last year and I actually have it in a few different colors. And I'm going to cut it to fit right along the front center of my heart and using a little more of my fabric tack to adhere it. This is honestly one of my favorite ribbons. And that's it. Super soft, simple, and really pretty. And then for our second heart, I found this fabric at the Dollar Tree and it's really soft and velvety. I honestly don't usually have much luck at my Dollar Tree, especially with fabric or really anything for that matter. So I was tickled pink, no pun intended, when I found this. And then for this one, I'm repeating the same exact steps as the first. And I'm going to speed a lot of this up, seems how you've already seen it. But for this one, we're going to use this beautiful lace fabric I found at Hobby Lobby. It was around $3.49 a yard, so it's a little on the pricey side, but definitely worth it. And I'm going to glue it right above the center of this heart. And for this one, I'm adding these ivory colored beads right along the seam. And for our third heart, I'm using this fabric I found on Temu last year, paired with this beautiful lace. I'm gluing the lace all along the sides to give it that soft, romantic finish. Now I'm going to take this really soft ribbon. It pairs so nicely with the lace around the sides, and just make a quick awareness bow. And then glue it in the center up the top there. And then I found this in my stash, and I'm going to glue that right in the center of my bow. And that's it for these beautiful hearts. I can't wait to hear what you think of these. I had no idea how to style these. I figured maybe I could hang them somewhere, or maybe put them in a bowl on a table or a counter. But then I had this idea to put a skewer stick up through the bottom and style them on my Valentine's Day tree. What do you think of these? For our next project, I'm using this really pretty paper that I found at Hobby Lobby in the Valentine's Day section. And I just love how it has that vintage, shabby chic feel. And I think this could be used year round. So I chose a few of the designs, and I'm going to cut it to fit my heart. And I'll try and link the video, but I had used 2 of these hearts to make a Valentine's Day tier tray. So to adhere it, I'm using my glue stick and taking my finger sander and just removing the excess. And I'm going to take Tim Holtz Distress Ink in the color Vintage Photo and go all around the sides and just make it look nice and distressed and old. Then these Valentine's Day words you can find at Hobby Lobby, and there's love, kiss, hugs, and XO. And I'm going to choose love and glue that right into the center, and take my chiffon ribbon and make a finger bow. I wanted to incorporate some beads with my bow, so I just cut a piece and kind of tied it in a ribbon, which was really difficult, and glued that down, and then my bow right on the top. Then I took this spray by Tim Holtz and sprayed it right on the top. I had a few big droplets that came out, but I didn't want to mess with it because it would probably ruin my whole project. But this is how it came out. I think it's really pretty. On to our next project, I'm taking these wooden hearts, and I took out 3 to begin with, but I only end up making 1 heart, and that same paper that I used earlier. I'm using 2 different papers on this one, so I just traced out half of the heart on each paper and then cut it to fit. And to glue it, I'm going to use that same glue stick. Then I'm going to sand all along the sides. I find this really helps with the adhering process and keeps the sides from lifting. And I found this really pretty ribbon. Looks kind of vintage to me, and I'm gluing it where the 2 papers meet. You can find these hearts at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to remove the stick and glue it right into the center of my heart. I'm going to distress this one as well, These would look so good in a bowl or maybe even on a sign. Pair 3 of them together. I think they'd look so cute. And here it is styled with a few other hearts that I made. What do you think of this one? I love this project. I found these bags like a year ago maybe at Goodwill, and when I first picked them up, I didn't know that they had a heart on one side. And so when I took them out to use them, I was a little bummed that they had them, but now I'm so happy because I was able to use them for a project. So all I did was tie the bags together, just like that. And once I had them tied together, I just trimmed up the little bit of leftover twine. I used a total of 7 of these bags. And as you can see, I rotated the colors. And these beautiful flowers I got at Hobby Lobby last year, they do have them again this year. And this is one of my favorite flowers. I think that it's supposed to be baby's breath. They have it in yellow, purple, and the pink. And so I'm going to tuck some of this into each bag. Then I'm going to add these pretty pink, I think it's supposed to be clovers, I'm not sure, but I found these at the Dollar Tree and I'm going to rotate, put them in every other one, and then add some Spanish moss to each one. So after I get my moss tucked in there, I'm going to pull on the strings so they're nice and tight. And these stayed put fine, they didn't loosen up afterwards. And this is how they look. Here in Maine, years ago, we had a department store called Ames, and I found these pom-poms at Goodwill for 89 cents, and it just tickled me because that was one of our favorite places to shop back in the day when I was a kid. And so I'm going to glue a pom-pom to each side. I tried gluing it to just one side, but then it would flip and the knot would be facing forward. So I just glued one to each side. And that's it. What do you think of this garland? I think it came out so pretty. I have it styled in front of my TV here. It's pretty long and I had trouble figuring out where to put it, but this was the perfect place and my husband absolutely loves it. All right, on to the next one. We're going to use one of those hearts. This one has some imperfections, which is fine. I had painted it previously with this purple milk paint. And then I'm going to take these coffee filters and gather them up. I want the tops to kind of be even and then just squeeze the bottom. On a couple of these, I squeeze the top. You don't want to do that. You don't want it all wrinkly and crumpled. You just want to gather the bottom up. I can't tell you how many of these I used for this project, but I just kept going until it was nice and full. So I'm going to do 3 or 4 at a time. I'm going to gather 3 or 4 of them at a time and then cut off the bottom. So with this first cut, it was standing pretty tall, didn't look right. So I cut off a little bit more and used my hot glue all along the bottom and then set it on top of the side of my heart and just held it there for about 15 seconds. And I did this all the way around the sides and then worked my way to the center. And this went a lot quicker doing 3 at a time. This is a super simple project. It takes no time to put together and comes out looking so pretty. Another idea I thought would look really pretty is taking some watercolors and just going over the top and then just fill in areas that need a little extra. I'm going to go real fast on this because a lot of it's repetitive and I just want you to see how I put it together. And then once I have all my filters in there, I'm just going to trim it up a little bit with my shears. And then I'm going to take the word kiss and I'm going to glue that along the top. And these Scrabble pieces were in my stash. I've had them forever and I didn't have the letter E. So I took this marker and just drew in that line, but then I decided to go over the whole thing just so it looked more natural, like that's the way it was made. Because this bled into the wood and I wanted it to look more natural. This ribbon, I believe, came from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to loop it over itself like 6 or 7 times. Then I'm going to cut a little notch in each side and then take the zip tie and pull it nice and tight. And then I'll just separate my loops. Then I added this little red bow that fell off one of my gingerbread men. And then this little heart that I got at the Dollar Tree. And that's it for this. What do you think about this one? I found this wreath at Hobby Lobby in the Valentine section and I got it 40% off, so I only paid maybe $1 for it. And then this lace doily I got last year from Temu, and there's a piece taken out of it, and you'll see that in another video where I used that. But I'm going to glue this right onto the back of my heart. Just trying to get it placed just right because I don't want to waste any of this. This is way too pretty to waste. So just tacking it down along the sides using some hot glue. And that's my yellow lab, by the way. That's not a pig in the background. So I'm going to just trim off the remaining and I'm going to save that hopefully for another project. I got these beautiful roses, 40% off, $2.99 at Hobby Lobby. There's only 9 of them on there, but I still think it's a good deal. I mean, look at how beautiful they are. They look real. This wreath only took a couple minutes to put together, and the end result is just so pretty. I absolutely fell in love with it and was so happy that I had the lace for the background because it just paired so nicely with the roses. I'm going to add a bow to this, so I took this white chiffon ribbon, wrapped it around my fingers 7 times, and then I took this zip tie, and before tightening it all the way, I'm going to take another zip tie and just run it through it. Just like that, and this will be the back. Then I'll tighten it all the way, nice and tight. And then fluff up my bow. I do this a couple of times. And then I'm going to run that through my wreath. Then I'll do some more fluffing, of course. I'm going to glue my hugs right in the upper right hand corner. And then add this little half pearl right in the center of my bow. And it kind of looks like a flower, doesn't it? And this is how it came out. I truly hope that you enjoyed these projects today. I had so much fun making them. And you know, I don't typically do a lot of Valentine's Day DIYs, but last minute I was at Hobby Lobby, saw all the Valentine's decor, and I just couldn't help myself. It put me in the mood to just sit down and craft for Valentine's Day. I'd love to know which one was your favorite. And as always, I truly love hearing from you. So feel free to leave me a comment down below. If you're not already subscribed, I'd love for you to join us here. I'm really working hard on my growth for my channel, and your support honestly means the world to me. And let me know, do you decorate for Valentine's Day? Thank you for spending time with me. Until the next one, bye.